Welcome to the session. So today we are going to discuss related to the topic how we are going to do vouching related to sale of investment. So first let us know what is the meaning of investment. Investments, it's nothing but securities, shares, bonds, etc. which the firm, a part of his company's profit will be invested in some other organization. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಉಳಿತಾಯ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದ್ರಲ್ಲನ ಬಂಡವಾಳನ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು. ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಅವ್ರು ಗಳಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ನ ಅವರ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ದಿರ ಅದರಿಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥದನ್ನ ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಾ. ಈವನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಅದೊಂದು ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಯಾವಾಗೂ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ಗೆ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಾಗಿ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಲಾಭ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಶಾರ್ಟೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆವಾಗ ಇದನ್ನು ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕಂತಲೇ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋಂತಹ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಜನರಲಿ ಇನ್ ವೌಚಿಂಗ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು deep examine the receipts that is you are going to receive mainly from sale of investment, then the auditor has to follow the following procedure. Usually auditing ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು auditor ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Why is going to do means because according to the demand of the client, so whatever the book of accounts he has been maintained, whether it is accurately prepared or not, in order to have that cross check, generally the auditor is going to do is auditor work. So auditor work will be successful when all the vouchers, that is vouching activities, takes place successfully. So vouching is nothing but it is a part of auditing. So auditor work ಟ್ರೀ ಥರ ಇದ್ದರೆ ವೌಚಿಂಗ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಚ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಡಿಟರು ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ವೌಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋವಾಗ ಆ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡೋವಾಗ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ಸ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಪೇಯ್ಡ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲು ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಥ್ರೂ ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ವೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯವರ್ತಿಗಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸು ಕಮಿಷನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೋ, ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ whenever a company, what is the value of its investment in such a security or shares, usually it will be known through brokers only, where the brokers, what and all the daily activity they are going to do, they'll be making a note. Either it may be when they are going to sell the investments, or even it may be ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಅವ್ರು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಡೈಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ದೇ ಮೇ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಈವನ್ ದೇ ಮೇ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಥರ ಇಷ್ಟು ಇಯರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರಿಸೀವ್ ದ ಕಮಿಷನ್ಸ್. So where it will be giving the detail about the actual amount that they have been received mainly from the sale of investments. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಂಪನಿದಾಗಿರಲಿ, ಓನರ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, when they going to sell the investments, the particular date, ಅವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಿತ್ತು, ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸು, ಯಾರು ಅವರ ಓನರು, what is the amount that he have been sold, each and everything along with the actual amount that has been received, everything will be note mainly in the broker's sold note, where this will be also acting as evidence when the auditor is going to do his audit work. So the auditor, he has to deeply examine, that is while vouching, what is the amount that is received mainly from the sale of investment and what is the actual commission that is paid mainly to the broker. And second document is nothing but investment sold come dividend. Come dividend is nothing but if the investment has been sold, ಮೊದಲೇ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, then the auditor, he has to see that the sale proceeds, that is, it has been properly apportioned between capital receipt and revenue receipt. That is nothing but in case the investment that you have been sold, it is going to include even the dividend also. Dividend ಕೂಡ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಹಂಗಾರೆ ಆಡಿಟರು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕು, ಬಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ಅಮೌಂಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ divided among capital receipt and revenue receipt. Capital receipt is nothing but a lump sum what you are going to receive after the sale of investment, whereas the revenue is nothing but if anything loss or any expenditure that you are going to use, mainly the amount that you have been received from the investment, no, that will be recorded mainly in your revenue receipts, which is also one of the documentary evidence which will be helping the auditor. So the auditor, he should also vouch the payment that is made for the purchase of investments also. So auditor deep ಆಗಿ examine ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ actually the owner will be purchasing this shares mainly from that broker only. So this will be helping mainly for the auditor for what amount the purchase of investment has been made. For that, whether it is in part of shares or securities, whether it is also noted in that brokers bought note ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಡೀಪ್ ಆಗಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಶುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮೈನ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. ಬರೀ ನೋಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬುಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. He should not believe blindly. Whatever is there, the record is correct or not, he should not follow whatever the others they are telling. He should physically examine and see that whether the investment, whatever it has been purchased, no, whether it is there in physical existence or not. That has to be inspected mainly by the auditor. If they have been purchased come dividend, then the auditor should see that the dividend accrued is received subsequently and the expenditure is properly allocated between the capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಲೆಕ್ಕಾಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶಿಯರ್ಗಳು ತಗೊಂಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಗೂಡ್ಸು ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂಥ ಲಾಭನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಾ, ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಾ, ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ರೆಕರಿಂಗ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ವೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ misappropriation of cash, everything and all. Then even the auditor, he has to see that whatever the investment that have been sold, ಏನು ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಾ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ವೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್, ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಏನಾನ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳೋ ಒಂಥರ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದರ್ mainly for the last installment that has been paid mainly by the client, it has to be examined deeply. Why means because he should see that the investment whatever had been, no, it is according to the provision of Companies Act. So ಏನೇ ಅಲಾಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿರೋದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾಗಿರಲಿ, ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಿರಲಿ, everything it has to be crossly examined. Then even he has to see that whatever the investment that has been done, no, it has to fulfill. ಸೊ ಏನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ ತೀರಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೂ ಮಾಡಿರಬಾರ್ದು ತೀರಾ ಕಡಿಮೆನೂ ಮಾಡಿರಬಾರ್ದು. ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಕಂಪನಿನೋ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರನೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಶುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಿ that the investment are registered in the name of the company as required under section 49 of the Companies Act. ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಲೈಂಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಕಂಪನಿ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲೇ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾನ ಮತ್ತು ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 49 of the Companies Act or is doing any malpractices or not, any receipt that is overwriting or duplicate voucher has been omitted or not, whether that voucher is going to belong to that current accounting year or not, each and everything has to be cross-checked mainly by the auditor. So in case of inscribed stocks ಏನನ ಇದ್ದರೆ certificate it has to be received mainly from the bank, where the bank is going to have the stock which is inscribed. It has to be obtained. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ vouching ಮಾಡಾವಾಗ generally the auditor he should have deep examination of investment certificates na cross check ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ along with the authorized person, whether it has been signed documents, whatever, whether it is there in the name of the company only, for what amount they have been purchased that one, what is the dividend that they are going to receive yearly, what are the rules and regulations, whether each and everything it is going to fulfill according to the Companies Act or not. All that has to be vouched personally mainly by the auditor. Then even he has to cross verify the broker's note also, because broker note it is going to play vital role mainly in auditing, because each and day-to-day transaction will be recorded by the broker in this book only. So here you'll be knowing how many times the client has been purchased the shares and how many times he has been sold, what is the price and what is the dividend that he is going to declare, what is the commission that he is going to pay mainly for the broker. Each and every transaction will be received and recorded in his broker note. And even the voucher such as cash receipts also plays a vital role when the auditing is going to do his audit work. Why miss? Because here the vouchers which you are going to do mainly based on receipts basis, no? Each and every record you have will be finding mainly in our cash book, but as the commission will be received mainly from the book, there may be some malpractices. It has to be deeply examined mainly by the auditor. Earmark funds. So earmark funds is nothing but if the investment that is going to do some earmark funds, that is auditor he has to see that profit or loss on the sale of investment it is transferred mainly to earmark fund account, that is nothing but broker's sold note or bank advised note, where here whatever the transaction that you are going to do, it has to be entered into that account only. As sale of investment is nothing but it is a receipt, it is an income for the organization. So income for the organization is nothing but it has to be entered mainly on the receipt side of the cash book. So cash transaction whatever you are going to do, it should be vouchered mainly by the auditor carefully. Why means? Because cash receipts whatever you are going to receive mainly from the customer, sometimes it may not be recorded in the book of accounts and the amount also may be misappropriated. Why means? Because here only the broker and the client will be having a detailed transaction where a part of the profit will be invested mainly in some other company, and the shares, the day-to-day transaction related to the shares and securities do not remain the same. It will be fluctuating. The day on which he has been sold and the day on which he has been purchased will be playing a vital role related to the amount regarding the sale of investment. So detailed examination should be done related to the broker's sold note, bank advice, and as well as the receipts that has been received mainly from the owner. Even the cash may not be recorded or under recorded in the books of accounts. Due to the amount, it may be omitted or it may be wrongly transacted regarding capital expenditure as well as the revenue expenditure also. Sometimes the false entry also may be recorded related to intentionally it may be or unintentionally it may be. So the auditor, he has to consider the following whatever he is going to do. That is, the auditor, he has to ensure that the sale of investments is made only on the proper authorization of the board of members or it may be authorized persons. So whatever the sale of goods, sale of investment that is done, no, he should not take his individual decisions. So ಯಾರೇ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಓನರು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕಂಪನೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ he has to make a note in minutes book also, so that it will be signed mainly by the authorized persons, and the transaction that has been recorded, it will be recorded related to the cash receipts which is coming into the concern of the proper authorized persons. And even the investment that are usually sold through brokers, no, even it has to be verified related to the date of sale. Why means because the amount that you have been received or the commission that is charged mainly to the broker do not remain the same. It will be changing from day to day transaction. So generally the auditor, whenever he is going to deeply examine broker's sold note, no, he has to verify the date, amount, and even the commission that has been paid. This has to be crossly examined related to the income sides, that is receipt or revenue account, and even he has to verify related to the cash book whether it has been entered or transferred to the profit and loss account, that is where you will be calling that as a earmark fund or not, because this will be playing a vital role when you are going to do your transaction. Even the auditor, he should note that whether the sale has been done with dividend or before already received dividend, because this plays is vital role. Why means when is going to receive the dividend means whether it has been declared or not, whether after declaring the investment has been sold or before declaring the investment as sold. Before it has sold means whether it is properly allocated or not, that is whether it has been divided according to the Provision Act of Companies Act. It is going to fulfill the provision, that is Memorandum of Association and Article Association, whether it has come to the notice of the authorized person or not, that has to be clearly examined by the auditor. And if the sale of investment, whatever that you have been made through the bank, then the bank advice should be verified. So bank in case the sale of investment, now when you are going to tell that is done according to the bank advice ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಬುಕ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾಗ, then the auditor, he should have a deep examination, that is whether it is done according to the consent of the bank advice or not. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ವೆರಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಂದಿದೆಯಾ, ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ವಿತ್ ಹೂಮ್ ದ advisory has been taken, whether it has been signed by that person or anything misappropriation has been taken place. So that has to be verified mainly by the auditor. And the auditor should also ensure that whatever the proper disclosures are made as per accounting standards 13, whether it has been followed or not, he has to verify. That is, in terms of interest, dividend and rents that has been received on investment are to be shown in the profit and loss account at gross value, and TDS as advance tax paid. That is, ಸೊ ಏನು ಅವರು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ 13 ಪ್ರಕಾರ. ಆ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋಂಥ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಂದಿರೋಂಥ ಲಾಭ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ರೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದೂ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಲೇ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಟಿ ಡಿ ಎಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಡೀಪಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಈವನ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ separate profit and loss account, it has to be shown on disposal and changes in carrying the amount of correct of long term investment. ಸೊ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಡಿಟರು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೇನು, ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸಪ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಅಂಥ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಶೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್, ಮತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ಡ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ investment, whether that has been done or not, that has to be cross verified mainly by the auditor, where vouching of receipts transaction what you are going to make, no, it is most important job of an auditor, because vouching of receipts is nothing but it is a verification of documentary evidence of the transaction that you are going to do, mainly related to cash receipts and all. So you can call this as a, it is also called as whatever you are going to vouch, no, the vouching of items that will be appearing mainly in the debit side of the cash book, because it will be coming ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬರೋದನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗೂ ನಾವು ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲೇ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಿ. ಸಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಬಲ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ನ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಲ್ನರಬಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ frauds for various kinds, everything and all. Therefore, auditor, he himself has to satisfy that whatever the transaction that is entered mainly in the cash book by the client, he has to see that it has been clearly recorded and all the procedures has been followed mainly for entering such cash transaction. So it will be playing its vital role when an auditor is going to do his vouching, which is related for cash book everything. Because in case of sale of investment, that is the stock market quotations that has been received mainly from the financial journals, it has to be compared with the sale price to check whether there is a wide fluctuation in the price ordinarily. That is, sale of investment, it is a capital receipt, except in case of sale of by broker or investment funds, because for them it is a revenue receipt since they deal with it on a daily basis. So this has to be examined mainly from the auditor. Let us recap what and all we are learnt in this session. So in this session we learnt specifically related to what are the procedure that you are going to follow mainly for the sale of investment. So in this connection, the auditor, he should consider the he should consider as investment. It is usually sold through brokers. No, he has to verify deeply the broker's sold note, so that he is going to examine what is the date of sales, what is the amount that has been received, and what is the commission that has been given for him, because each and every day the transaction related to the sales, shares, everything will be changing. So it has to be verified mainly by the auditor. And even if it is sold, that is the investment, if it is sold through banks, means then the bank advice also must has to be examined mainly by the auditor. If the auditor note see that whether the sales has been done related to the cum dividend of X dividend, it has to be properly examined related to the Companies Act. And regarding the sales that have been done, the stock market quotation has to be taken mainly from the financial journals. So in case ಅದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅವತ್ತೊಂದು ದಿನ ಡೇಟ್ಗೆ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಜರ್ನಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೆಲೆ ಬಾಳುತ್ತಾ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಡಿಟರು ಅದನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ದಟ್ ಟು ದಿ sales price that has been mentioned in the book of accounts, and even related to the cash receipts also. Why means ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಫ್ಲಕ್ಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಆರ್ಡಿನರ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾನ, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ವೆರಿಫೈಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಆಡಿಟರ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸು ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ if it is sold mainly by the broker. So ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾದರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್, ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಹಿಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೆನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್, ವೇರ್ ಈವನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರಿತೀರಾ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟ್. ವೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಬ್ರೋಕರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೀಲ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎ ಡೈಲಿ ಬೇಸಿಸ್. ಅದು ಅವರು ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಅವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನಿಂಗ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ sale of investment that they have done. Everything has to be properly verified, and you should see that whatever the sales that has been done, no, whether it is duly sanctioned or not, ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ, ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ credited or not to be credited or not to be transferred to general profit and loss account. Each and everything has to be checked when they are going to do the counter file or when they are going to vouch the cash receipts and all. Because all the cash receipts, whatever you are going to maintain, no, it should be properly recorded in the cash book. And even you should ensure that whatever the cash receipts that has been deposited mainly into the bank, no, that is on the daily basis, this deposit, it must be supported mainly by the proper voucher, where you can call even that as a pain slip mukantra madirbodu, or even it may be through cash transaction, it may be, but everything it has to be come through the post only. Each and everything has to be recorded. No direct entry will be transferred from one person to another person. So the auditor, he has to check that whatever the cashier that is going to do, no, he should not have any control over the ledgers, because when you have his control over the ledgers means automatically there will be chances of misappropriation of cash. So that has to be taken place mainly by the auditor. He has to deep verify. So the auditor, in case of sales that is relevant to the vouchers that he is going to verify, no, he will be successful as he will have a properly vouchers file. It is serially numbered and it is arranged related to the particular current year only. So by this, I wish to conclude my session. Thank you.